Get your films on with the Blurs.
Once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's almost impossible to eradicate.
Unpacking movies has never been more spot on, woke, fire, and just plain lit.
They are lit all the time.
So if you're unsure whether or not to plop down some cash for a film, check out the Blurs.
When a man with a 45 meets a man with a rifle, the man with a pistol is a dead man.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolyte.
You really only need to hang mean bastards. But mean bastards, you need to hang.
Don't say you weren't warned. Ridiculous. Here's Brandon and Jeff.
You and welcome to episode 45 of the Film Blurs. I am Jeff Stewart, aka Revengeman Button, aka Uncle Jeffrey, aka He Who Remains, aka
Petty Ruxpin,
aka To Be Determined. And I'm joined here as always by
it's your boy Brandon Norwood, aka Hero Protagonist, aka the True Father of Joe's Kids, aka Papi Chulo, aka the Glizzy King, aka
Mr. Krusty,
aka
The Lethal Protector,
aka Rough McGruff, still pulling rip and runs, aka oh man, they glowing in the dark.
What's glowing in the dark?
These nuts, aka B Wood, the Magnificent. Before we get into our main shit, we gotta do some cleanup on last week's shit, because goddamn movie has so much shit in it. We still
so many layers of shit.
So let's start with what I want bothered me, which was right before they started shooting Justice League, all these set reports came out because people got invited to the set to be like, you see, this movie's not as dark as the last one. And they showed them
it's got comedy in it.
They were only on set for one day. They got to see the scene where Commissioner Gordon meets the Justice League, because that's the one with the most humor in that fucking movie. They interviewed the Snyders, and Deborah Snyder, which is Zach's wife and producing partner. Yeah. She said the lesson they took away from BVS is that people don't like their heroes deconstructed. And every single set report that I've seen has said, you guys completely missed the point of what people don't like about that movie. And people have even said, deconstructions work when you know the character and the character's been established. Despite being in Man of Steel before BVS, we still don't really know Superman, and then this Batman you literally just threw at us. Right. So it's not like people don't like deconstructions. There's a reason why people love Logan. There's a reason why people love the other two Captain America movies.
You have to have a reverence for the source material in order to be able to give a critique and a deconstruction and reconstruction of the character, but you have to have that foundation. You have to know what the character's all about.
Yeah, man. Like, you can't break down a character if we don't know who the character is. And why don't we segue into, Jeff, something you wanted to talk about? You wanted to talk how Superman is represented in BVS that we didn't get to talk about last week.
I mean, we kind of touched on it last week, but I'll go deeper. In general, like, you watch all the other Superman movies, from time immemorial. He has always been a beacon of hope, but he has always wanted to be Superman. Like, it was never a choice for him.
Right.
It was just ingrained from it, from his first footsteps out of the pod, right?
Right.
BVS, more so than Man of Steel, he doesn't want to be a hero. He gets it's like he's guilted into it.
Yeah.
And that's not Superman.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And I'll talk about it later on in the episode. I watched Man of Steel again after we did the BVS episode, and it's better in there. He does the right thing because it's the right thing. He's still being dragged across the finish line.
Yeah, because a lot of people who don't like that movie say, oh, that wasn't Superman. I get that critique. Right. Despite me liking the movie, I get that critique.
Right. So it's still him being dragged across the finish line, but at least it felt like to me that at the end of the day, he was always going to do the right thing.
Absolutely.
Right? And in BVS, it just felt like he's sighing every time he saves somebody.
Oh, this fucker's falling out of the tree again.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, let me drag this boat across this ice, fucking drunk Exxon Valdez motherfuckers. So, yeah, I mean, that's where we go back to. You can't deconstruct Superman if you don't understand Superman.
Right.
I would be all for a reinvention of the character or a new take on the character, as long as that core of him being the best of us, not just physically, but like spiritually, you know, in a way, was there.
It's crazy to me that up until now, because we'll get into it later in another bit of news, that Warner Brothers has been afraid and doesn't know how to do Superman when Captain America is literally there.
Right. It's,
you know what I mean?
Everything, like we've said this before, everything that Marvel has done, DC just needs to do. Even when it comes to your prototypical Superman character.
Yeah.
Just make your Superman like Captain America.
Yeah, everybody thinks, oh, nobody wants to see a goody two-shoes, but I'm like, yo, Captain America is literally a goody two-shoes, and what makes him interesting is that he always has the right moral compass when the world around him is not moral.
Right, and he can make mistakes,
yeah.
But as long as he had like that north.
Yes.
As long as he's pouring north,
yes.
You know, like I can't fault him for making mistakes because he's always going forward.
That's the thing I liked about Falcon and Winter Soldier, because I was Falcon in that, like, the world around him was complicated and he's trying to do the right thing or what he thinks is right. So that's why that works. So you have two Captain Americas you guys could base Superman off of, and y'all are just like, man,
give him some Zoloft.
So one of the things that I thought about and what bothered me is in Justice League, Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, it's made clear that the Atlanteans and the Amazons are beefing. So my thing is, why was Diana so surprised to see all these other fucking metahumans, including Aquaman? Because I'm just like, there's like a whole bunch of motherfuckers under the sea doing all this shit. Like, if I was her, I would have tried to check that out a long time ago. I've been like, yeah, I left my island. I'm just seeing what y'all are up to. Like, let's try to make some peace.
We've literally been fighting for eons, but like, I'm surprised that you're there, on or in the water.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like it's just this chick is literally the child of a god, right? But a dude who runs real fast, like whoa. Oh no! I'm gonna do something about this.
All right. I fucking.
You literally fought Ares, the god of war, but the Flash is a surprise to you.
So that brings me to another point that I don't like about this movie. Why were the Superman soldiers in the nightmare scene stormtroopers? And I mean Nazi stormtroopers with the patch, the fucking helmets. Like, those are stormtrooper pants and helmets. Like, I was like, bro, y'all literally looked at photos of Nazis to recreate these shits, especially when Superman was created by two Jewish dudes to represent an American outsider in America. And you decide to do the character created by two Jewish dudes.
Yeah, because default is always Nazis. Like, yeah, you know, like that will be the default forever when it comes to this type of thing. It's just going to be Nazis.
Yo, fine, but not here. You know what I'm saying? Just because. But if them two went into the theater and saw that shit, they would have a heart attack right then and there.
Because no one thought that. No one thought that far. No one was like, it's like Jurassic Park. We spent so much time concentrating on if we can do this. We never stopped to ask if we should do this, or should we do this? I fucked up the line, but you know what it is, Jurassic Park.
Yo, because that would be something I would. As soon as I saw the costume, I'd be like, wait, let's take a step here. I was like, something don't feel off about having Superman's patch on the stormtrooper fucking.
This it's the same sort. It's the storm.
That's like putting the Star of David. They might as well just put the Star of David right on that motherfucker.
Right. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah.
And you tell me there's not one Jewish person in that screening room who was like,
yes, right.
Kind of triggered.
Yeah.
Maybe we should dial that back a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh my God. All right. Well, our last bit of BVS cleanup, there was a deleted scene from this motherfucker. That's not in any version of this. It was so dark that even Zack Snyder said, we can't put this in the movie. And I know a lot of you are like wondering, how dark can this be in already a nihilistic movie that makes The Revenant look like a bedtime story?
Superman actually eats a Jewish baby. That's That's how
you
he gets.
imagine that
That's how he
shit?
gets his powers.
In a new interview, at the time, for an interview a while when the movie got released with IGN, Zack Snyder discussed Superman's power of hearing, specifically why Superman didn't hear Ma Kent being kidnapped by Lex Luthor. He says, I think all the way, to me, from Metropolis to Smallville is probably just on the edge of his hearing range. Also, the clutter of the city makes it difficult as well. So right off the bat, this is crazy because we're like, all right, Superman has a range of hearing, even though in the comics this motherfucker heard to space.
Right.
We understand, like, we always knew Metropolis and Smallville were like fucking far apart.
Right.
But come on, man, that's pushing it. And then Snyder continues and says, we had a scene that we cut from the movie where he tries to look for her when he finds out that Lex has got her, but it was slightly dark, that scene. We cut it out because it represented this dark side. And I'm like, what would be the dark side of an already movie where we saw Superman pushing Batman's chest and laser two people? How much darker?
He does some like extraordinary rendition type shit, like water, like the superhero version of waterboarding, right? What go ahead, give it to us. Give it to us.
This is from Snyder, because when he was looking for his mom, he heard all the cries of the potential crimes and victims going on in the city when he was looking. I kind of had that idea that he's taught himself not to look, because if he looks, it's just never ending. You know, as when Superman knows when to intervene and not to intervene, or when not to, you can't be everywhere at once. Literally, you can't be everywhere at once. So he has to really be selective in a weird way about where he chooses to intervene. That nigga's super speed. He could clean up a city by the end of before breakfast, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
I get it. And that's an interesting character sort of nuance and flourish where Superman can have a conversation and say, I wish I could save everybody, right? But to actually hear it and see him make that choice, that's dark.
Listen, this is interesting, and it brings up some choices that could have worked in a movie by somebody more thoughtful.
Right.
A movie that's not already so fucking depressing and nihilistic, that's already feeling like you're being bludgeoned. And one more thing before we
because if he had done that, it would have been just so horribly fucking obvious and just I can't even imagine what that would look like.
So moving on from that, one last thing we're gonna do, I want to bring up is the other thing that bothered me is when Doomsday was being thrown around at the end through the fucking buildings in Metropolis. They said, you hear Anderson Cooper say over the news thing, there's nobody in downtown Metropolis, so there's no casualties, but there's still so much destruction. I'm just like, my man, I love Man of Steel, but even I get exhausted.
Right, from the man.
Because that shit is like 30, 40 minutes of just watching buildings crumble and shit.
Right.
It's exhausting. And you're in a movie that has already by this point, like, makes me like scream for bloody murder. You're throwing motherfuckers through buildings again and just double down.
And honestly, how big is this fucking city? Right? Like, how big is Metropolis? Like New York is what's the biggest city in the world? Like, you could fit New York or whatever the biggest city in the world inside of Metropolis 18 times. Yes. It's like some Mega City 1 shit. It's like some Judge Dredd shit.
Bro, I'll never forget. I was at my press screening and it was fucked up, by the way, because they had to make you sign an NDA, even though we saw it at 2:00 afternoon in the Times Square Dolby Cinema, like the Tuesday before it came out. That's how much, because usually, Warner Brothers will show you a movie a month in advance, and this one, they're just like, yeah, you'll see it the Tuesday before it comes out. So before we walk into the theater, they make us sign an NDA saying, like, we can't talk about it, we can't tweet about it. I'm like, okay, but the embargo's up like an hour after we get out of this motherfucker. So we were all confused. And then we walked out. I knew it was a wrap when Anderson Cooper's like, oh, there's nobody in downtown Metropolis. The whole theater started busting out laughing because they all knew where that was coming from.
Right. Yeah.
I was just like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, way to, it's like, oh, all right, well, we fixed everything in from Man of Steel. Anderson Cooper saved the day.
It wasn't just the fact that people died, my man. It's also just because we're watching buildings topple over violently. And it don't matter if there's people in them or not. It's just seeing a motherfucker get thrown through a building after a movie where we've already been beaten down by so many violent acts. You know what I'm saying?
How flimsy are these buildings made that, you know, that they're collapsing like this? Because those shits are kind of designed to take a little bit of a beating, but like every building they crash into just falls down.
And it's so over the top because, again, you got fucking Doomsday going Super Saiyan, like roaring and leveling up every 2 minutes.
I hated that.
And
that was the worst
explosion. I'm like, God damn, bro. Movies, goddamn. It's like a 5-year-old playing like the loudest music possible, taking his action figures and going, rah, rah, just slamming them together. Rah.
That is the perfect encapsulation of Batman versus Superman. A 5-year-old with Legos and
loud music
and toys
and just smashing them together. It's like a 5-year-old had a Batman doll and a Superman doll and just smashed them together. Roar!
There we go. That's all. We could have saved ourselves a whole entire show worth of review, but just by saying that. But yeah, that's pretty much on the money.
All right. Well, sticking on DC, it's come out this morning that now that Warner Brothers and Discovery have merged and Warner Media is no more, AT&T has been kicked to the curb.
Right.
Discovery has apparently seen an early cut of the Batgirl movie, and now the Batgirl movie is going to theaters, as it should have in the first place. Because when they said Batgirl and Supergirl are going to HBO Max, I'm like, time out. Y'all want these motherfuckers to replace Batman and Superman in this shared universe, and y'all gonna send this shit to HBO Max? I was like, there's no way. And so Discovery saw an early cut, and they're like, no, excuse me, what?
You put this bitch out on the street, make me some money.
Yeah. He's like, even they were like, this is one of the most popular characters ever. We could make action figures, dolls, literal dolls. We could make everything. And he's like, this movie, and they looked at it, they're like, supposedly they're like, the production value of this is too good for streaming. Like they got J.K. Simmons back as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, word? Okay.
Michael Keaton's popping up in this because he's like he's temporary Batman till they find a permanent Batman for this universe.
Which, fine with.
Right. I am too, but I'm saying like you got these two motherfuckers in this movie and you're like, they're going to be the heads of the DCEU. But straight to streaming. I'm like, no,
let's fuck that shit.
Especially since Supergirl's going to be in the Flash movie. Like, why?
Put her out on the stroll, man. Put her out on the street. These bitches need to make some money.
Two of the most iconic superheroes of all time. Y'all like, go
like
streaming.
Female superheroes.
That's why. And they're female, and they made them Latinas. Like both Supergirl and Batgirl are Latina, and that is also a bad look because now all the people of color movies.
It was like, I'll put it on
streaming.
Put it on streaming.
Yeah, because the only one, since now they're getting pulled to theaters, the only one that's going straight to streaming is Static Shock, and like motherfuckers love Static Shock, so I'm just like,
good for them. I never
put that in theaters.
I never got Static Shock, but like if you're really trying to fuck Marvel,
he's dope.
He was okay.
No, he's dope. His series was dope too.
If you're gonna try to like beat out Marvel, right? Then you have to put all of these in theaters. You need to make them a bigger deal. Like you can't put what is pretty much comparable, just optics wise, as Black Panther. Their version of they're a black led movie. You can't put that just on streaming.
All right. Now that this merger went through, Discovery has also said that their priority is making DC a brand to rival Marvel. They have been looking at all the properties and are just like, why aren't you guys doing this? Right. They're like, Superman's been sitting there, right? They've said the people who are coming from Discovery and running Warner Brothers now, they're like, they straight up had a meeting with everybody. They're like, why haven't you guys worked on Superman? Superman's right there. And so now their priority at Discovery is doing another Superman movie to have this DCEU be united by Superman.
And the wind whispered, Henry Cavill.
Yeah, like Listen, we went from Kevin Tushihara, who made bad choices. Then we went to AT&T, who made different bad choices.
Right.
And now we get another fucking corporate overlord. And so far, they've been the smartest people in the room. Like they even said, they're like, Green Lantern should be our fucking Star Wars. That's what we're working on now. So I don't know what's going to happen with the Green Lantern show, but they are actively working on a movie that is just, from what I understand, Jon Stewart. So Hal Jordan is going to be on TV, and
Jon Stewart's going to get his own movie then? Like,
Jon Stewart is going, because they said, they're like, everybody and their mom knows those Justice League cartoons.
Right.
We tried Hal already. We're doing Jon. Jon's the more popular Lantern.
They're saying the right things. Let's see if they execute them.
Better to try than not, right?
Yeah, no, like at least they're saying the right thing.
Because we've learned now that this vast multiverse exists, we will forgive a bad superhero movie because we know, we can mulligan this because we could just pull something or somebody else and then possibly make this bad movie better in context of what comes next. Because that's what happened with these amazing Spider-Man movies.
Exactly.
Now they're great movies.
Right, exactly.
You look at them, they're like, these shits are good.
Like you go back, No Way Home changed the game for this whole entire multiverse.
For continuity? Yeah.
For continuity. You can, like, this is the cinematic equivalent of having your cake and eating it too.
Yes.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yes.
Because it all matters, but none of it matters.
Yeah, because now every time I see a bad one of these, I was like, well, this movie sucks. Maybe the next one they'll get it right, or maybe they'll get it right in another iteration. So if we get another bad Superman movie, I'd be like, all right, well, they're eventually gonna. Right. The way I look at it is like, eventually you're gonna hit a home run. Like, everybody eventually connects. Yeah, the ball and the bat connect eventually.
So yes, now just follow.
Yeah, just follow through.
Follow through.
You know what I mean? It don't hurt to try. Like, y'all motherfuckers will make more money trying than not trying.
Just do some interesting shit.
Yeah.
Now you have a chance to do some interesting shit because you can always 3 movies from now just be like, oh, that was Universe 3829.
Yep.
That shit's fucked up.
Yeah. Yep. God damn, man. All right. So Ezra, staying on DC, our boy Ezra, since the last time we did this show, he got arrested again and this time throwing a chair at a bitch's head.
He needs a hug and some therapy. I'm sorry. What? All right. They are acting real hetero fucking toxic right now.
He acting like the white guy who lives in the trailer, comes home drunk.
Right.
Where's my dinner? Like, every time I look in the paper, he beating a new woman. I'm like, damn, you really like beating on bitches, man.
Like they are acting like some real Cletuses.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, that's not a good look, man. You beating on women like fucking fat boy eats cake.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's done. Really. I mean, they're now with DC and
you see Discovery coming in, and in Discovery they're gonna be like, so what's good here?
So after, Flashpoint, we have his likeness. We can fucking deep fake some shit at the end of Flashpoint and just get rid of him.
The way I look at it, you got Wally. Wally's a popular Flash. You could pull a different version of Barry Allen. Like, there's been like 4 different. You could get Jay. I forget what the dude's name is. Yeah. The very first Flash, right. Jay. Like, you could get any version of Flash now. Like, Barry Allen don't live and die on this character.
Right. So and
that's what I would do. I'd be like, yo, Wally, we're pulling Wally West, and there's 2 versions of Wally West because they're 2 different people who have now merged into the same timeline. So you got like Black Wally West and then White Wally West. And you know what I would do? I'd do them at the same time. I'd be like, yo, fuck it, we getting this money.
Yeah.
Say, Barry Allen, he sacrificed himself in the Speed Force to save the world.
DC needs to act like a pimp and put all their motherfuckers on the stroll. Yeah. Like, Flash, get on the stroll. Wally, out on the stroll. I want you on Main Street. I don't care if it's cold, bitch.
I would rejigger Batman Beyond, so that way when I've
always wanted
we're doing Batman Beyond, and it wouldn't be Bruce, it would be Damian. It would be old ass Damian training Terry. Yeah. If I'm Discovery, if I'm the head of Discovery, I'm like, yo, we're doing Batman Beyond, we're doing Superboy, we're doing the other version of Superboy on Earth 52. Like, fuck this, we cashing the fuck out.
Oh fuck yeah, man.
Like, I'd be like, Booster Gold, we trying to get on Jonah Hex, we making a weird cowboy movie.
DC, do you hear us? Do you hear that sound? That's the sound of cash registers.
Yeah. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah.
Cash the fuck out, man. See, this is why I need to be running that studio. I'd be like, yo, all this shit, if we fail at it, we'll wait 5 years and try again.
Right. But like they should be just pumping out.
Yo,
and, like,
I'm saying.
And they give these like offshoot characters and properties to some indie motherfuckers.
Yeah,
and
do it for 40, 50 million.
Right, get real weird with it. Whatever you want to do, doesn't fucking matter.
Yo, I would call Chloe Zhao or Robert Eggers right now and be like, yo, y'all want to try Jonah Hex?
I would love that.
And then I'd be like, yo, we're hands off. Do what you want. Because again, none of it fucking matters.
It's got to be better than that fucking one with that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying, man, you got all this talent making all these movies, and then
you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yes.
And get rid of Ezra Miller.
Yes.
Because I mean, he's good, but he's not beat a bitch's ass and forget about it good. You know, he's not that talented.
Yo, I mean, goddamn, yo, we gonna come in record next week and find out halfway through recording Ezra Miller he shot up a brothel. And everybody be like, they're just troubled. I'd be like,
look, there's troubles and then there's an asshole. And you can be both. But
you can't keep doing this every week. New bitches in the hospital.
Right? Like
pimps don't even put bitches in the hospital that much.
Throw a chair at somebody. Like, what the fuck? Like, what did this chick do?
That's the thing, nothing. They're just chilling. This motherfucker just loses his mind.
It's like fucking Ezra Miller's life is like he's at the fucking Source Awards. Just starting fucking beefs for no fucking reason.
All right, so moving on from that, let's get into some technical news. Comicbook.com did an interview with Pixar about the upcoming Pixar movie Lightyear. First Pixar movie to be put in theaters in damn near 3 years, which is sad.
Has it been 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, do you know how much money I saw how much money the bad guys made, and I'm like, yo, y'all could have put Turning Red in the theaters and Soul in the theaters. Y'all would have made a bank.
Right.
You made a mint, because that's, besides comic book movies, that's what's making mints right now is family shit. Y'all fucked up.
Motherfuckers need to get outside the house. You know, they've been stuck inside for 2 years. They're sick of seeing their own kids.
Disney don't know what to do with themselves either. Bring back Bob Iger. All right, but anyway, Pixar created, and this is fucking nuts, a virtual camera sensor. So that way they could capture animated footage in the full 1.3 IMAX aspect ratio. So they said a quarter of Lightyear is in that full IMAX aspect ratio. So I'm guessing the movie's only like an hour and 30 minutes.
Right.
And so 30 minutes of it is going to be in IMAX.
It's going to be, I'm so excited for Lightyear. Like, when they first announced Lightyear, I was like, whatever. Like, it seems like, you know, it's Pixar. It's going to be good, but it seems like a cash in. It seems like,
I didn't think so. I thought like, oh, we're getting a fucking space opera from Pixar using one of their characters.
Right. Like I thought it was gonna be like, oh, so you know, it's gonna be like some Cars shit, like the Cars sequel shit. Like
I knew it wasn't gonna be like that.
But after that first trailer and like seeing the story synopsis, all right, I get it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the movie that Andy saw that made him want a Buzz Lightyear toy.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
They didn't get too technical about it, but I want to know how they created a camera sensor. For those of you who don't know, camera sensors are part of like the lens, and it helps you decide when you're shooting. Depending on what you're shooting on, it shows you the safety points for different aspects.
Well, I mean, they have software like that now that you can previs like your scene or your setup and stuff like that. But the fact that they created it in a virtual environment where they can actually animate and make a fucking movie, that's what's mind blowing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to know how they created, because what a camera sensor is, it's physical. You know what I mean? It's never been digital before. Now that we're doing digital, like without any touching a camera, can make a camera sensor. That's amazing to me.
Yeah. So
I hope we get more technical aspects about this.
Well, I mean, there's got to be someone out there who can explain it to us.
Yeah.
Send us an email. We haven't had an email forever.
I know. I looking at this, I was just like, man, it seems like they're pushing digital to mimic IMAX film cameras now, which now it makes sense that Nolan and Jordan Peele are like, nah, fuck this. We're going to go make a new one.
I mean, and honestly, this should be scary for all actors out there. Between deep faking and that technology and like now we're creating virtual IMAX rigs. And, we just might need your voice, and Adobe's coming out with some shit that you don't even need the voice. You just need the voice actor. You just need samples of the voice.
Oh shit. Well, I want to say real quick before we move into our last bit of news. This is also news too. The Spider-Verse movies, have been pushed back a year a piece, which sucks because I feel like KD in Uncut Gems, like, why the fuck would you show it to me if I can't have it? Because that trailer, every time they show that trailer, every time I go to movies, I'm like, damn, can't wait to see that. Now that news dropped earlier this week, and I was like, and I felt like KD, the fuck you show it to me if I can't have it?
But did they give us a reason why?
Chris Miller tweeted out to make it better. And you know what? If you guys are going to do that,
right?
I hope you guys hit up Pixar and be like, yo, can we borrow that virtual camera sensor? Because imagine that movie in full IMAX. Motherfuckers.
I mean, they got a year.
They literally melt into the fucking chair.
They got a year.
They got over a year.
So let's see.
Yeah. Man, I can't. Fuck y'all do that for, though. God damn. All right. And our last bit of news, Fast and Furious on 420 revealed their title. It's Fast X. X as in the Roman numeral 10. But you know what? Fuck that. We're calling it Fast X because that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So, and like the way the logo design is cool too, because the X looks like LED lights that you would find in a car.
Yeah. Yeah. So like in the tail light or the floodlight.
Right. So like, come on, fast family.
Yeah.
And let's get The Rock back. Come on.
So the next one got to be called Fast X Part 2.
Oh, that's right. They're splitting it in half.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have fucking what's her face has been active on social media, Charlize, because they started shooting on 420, and she's just been posting pictures of her and the cast.
Does she have the cornrows again?
Nah, just it looks like glamorous Charlize. No bowl cut, no fucking cornrows. She hugging up on Jason Momoa. I'm like, oh, these two motherfuckers. Oh, Vin, it's a wrap for you. It's a wrap for you, Vin.
I mean, they might make her a good guy in this one. I don't know.
I hope not.
I mean, she was sort of a good guy in the last one.
So not really.
Yeah,
not really.
She was like looking at it. It was like, they're gonna turn her a good guy. There's gonna be a bigger bad.
So looking at this, Vin had came out and also said that the script originally didn't include Jordana Brewster's character, and he read the script and he's like, guys, and they were like, oh, we didn't put her in, and he's like, so he flexed his producer muscle and was like,
family, and
fixed this shit immediately. And what's going through my mind, I'm like, she was there from the beginning. And in the last movie, she had one of the best fights in the whole fucking franchise and was actually an integral part of the team. Like, she basically replaced Brian. And y'all are just going to be like, oh, we forgot to write her in? The fuck is wrong with y'all?
For a couple of these movies, she's just been filler. But in the last movie, she actually had some agency and she actually had a purpose. So, you got to keep that going.
Everybody who was in the last one, I would be like, oh, you're in this one. What the fuck? The fuck is wrong with y'all? If y'all gonna forget somebody, you forget Toretto.
Unless they, you can never forget Toretto, man. Family. But was it a thing where she wasn't gonna be in Fast 10 Part 1, and they were gonna bring her in Fast 10 Part 2?
It just said just for this script.
Okay.
I don't know if the script for the next one's been written or not.
Or I don't even know if they split it in half. Like, I don't even know.
I don't know. Well, the story was too big for one movie, so you know what? I'd rather them than rush it. So
yeah, because the last one was a fucking trash masterpiece.
All right, Jeff, what have you watched lately?
What you watching? What you watching? I said, what you watching? What you watching?
What are you watching?
So after last week's episode where we talked about, or the BVS episode. I went back and I watched Man of Steel, and I love that fucking movie so much, and I appreciate it so much more after watching BVS. Besides the the color palette issue and stuff like that,
the Randy and stuff,
right? The Randy and stuff, but like honestly, that whole entire beginning 10 minutes on Krypton, that fucking hit hard. I forgot about that. I forgot how good that was.
And you know what sucks about that movie is if the rest of that movie had the emotion of that first 10 minutes throughout, I guarantee people would love this movie more, because that's the only problem is like it holds you at a distance for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and like the pacing's a little rough and stuff like that, but like after seeing BVS and then whichever version of Justice League,
because it ain't like Zack's is that much better. It's like slightly better. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just it's a well-made movie that's just like, oh, okay, this is a step up from the studio slop.
Right, but like it reminds me that or reinforces that Henry Cavill deserved another fucking movie, another Man of Steel.
But I think that's the biggest problem, is that they forced Man of Steel into what it became, because clearly this should have been its own franchise and they should have launched with something else instead of Man of Steel.
Right, and I was talking to our producer the other day about the fan edit of Man of Steel and BVS called Man of Tomorrow, where they cut out all the bullshit and they cut Man of Steel and BVS together to make a better movie. And it works. So, because they cut out a lot of that whole entire Batman versus Superman bullshit, you know?
Should have been a world's finest movie.
Yeah.
Like BVS is like the last movie in the trilogy, dog.
Yeah. So, Man of Steel reminded me that, or reinforced that BVS and Justice League are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And that franchise deserved more.
I can say, like we said in our first episode, the only thing I like Henry Cavill in, he's been a great actor in these movies, but like as Superman, not as Clark Kent, because he's been great as Clark Kent the entire time, but as Superman himself, the only time I really enjoyed him as Superman was in the studio cut of Justice League, where he was smiling, cracking jokes with Cyborg at the end. I was like, oh, that's Superman.
It just reminded me when the smiling part, right?
Yeah.
It reminded me when they went back for reshoots for Justice League.
Oh, and they had the fucking
mustache,
TikTok.
the mustache game, where they had to fucking
CGI his mouth.
Oh,
look like it put. You know how they put the mouth on the hand and make the hand talk on like those weird ass
like
public.
Mr. Hand.
Yeah, that's what that shit looked like.
I'm Superman. Yeah. So, wow. Every time I think more and more on this whole entire BVS universe, the Snyderverse, is like, God damn, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about the CGI mustache removal.
Yeah, because he was shooting Mission Impossible and he couldn't shave it then.
Yeah.
And damn, was he great in that? He was great in Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, he's a
good actor.
He's a good actor.
Good actor.
Like,
and I haven't seen The Witcher, but people love him in The Witcher.
I just can't get behind The Witcher. I tried. People love it, but I can't.
It's Netflix, man. It's Netflix. It's just like everything is just like it's Netflix.
So that's Man of Steel, and so I finally decided to open up Amazon Prime, because I haven't opened up Amazon Prime in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Copland showed up. I was like, let me give that another look, because and Copland reminds you that Sylvester Stallone was a real actor who won an Academy Award. You know, like it is just
that movie's stacked though.
Like I had forgotten
Harvey Keitel's in that motherfucker. Isn't Ray Liotta in
Ray
that?
Liotta's in it. Harvey Keitel. I can't. Nurse Jackie. I can't remember her name right now.
Edie Falco.
Edie Falco.
Yeah, man. Shout out to James Mangold, man. He's a good dad movie. Like he makes great dad movies, because like all those movies are dad movies, but they're done so well. You know what I mean?
And the fact that like Sylvester Stallone plays so against type in this movie,
and
he sells it and it works. You know, if you don't know Copland, It's about a town, like it's a town across from the river from New York, where all of the New York cops have, or from this one precinct, have bought houses, right? And it's about the sheriff or the chief of police in this town full of cops. Like, how do you police a town full of police, right? And he's like neutered, like he's got no real power. He's just there, and through circumstances and stuff like that, he actually has to become a real cop and fight corruption and shit like that. It's just so well acted, so nuanced, and like it's tight. It's a tight fucking movie. All right, and I just like, I want more of that from these actors as they get older.
Right.
I want more like acting. Like, we know you're a superstar. We know you're a movie star. Let's get back to a hungry actor. Make something interesting.
I don't mind that we're in this comic book onslaught that we are, but we got to start getting like interesting takes and interesting voices.
Adult movies,
Yeah,
like not just adult as in like, oh, it's violent, it's blah blah blah. It's a comic book, but it's gritty. I mean, like stuff that kids can't watch,
or even
or that's just intelligent.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're talking about Copland and Sylvester Stallone. It just reminded me of something I read earlier this week that they did an interview with Michael B. Jordan. He's currently shooting Creed 3 as his directorial debut.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
He's shooting some of it in IMAX, and they asked him like, why this is your first movie, why are you going to tackle IMAX, especially for a boxing movie? He's like, well, the fights I tried to model off all my favorite anime, so these will be the most innovative boxing fights you ever seen. I was like,
shit.
oh, okay. This nigga came to play. See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about, where you get people who have a different point of view, because I never would have thought, let's base a fight off of anime. And if you ever seen an anime fight, like a hand-to-hand fight in an anime,
wild.
Yeah, this shit, like, it is the Matrix on steroids. Like, that's real, very much where the Matrix came from, was anime.
Yeah,
so
I don't think we need another Creed movie.
I didn't either, but like
if
I was like, after he said that, I was like, I'm sold. And then Jonathan Majors is the villain. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures of Jonathan Majors?
Yeah. He looks.
I was like, yo, you about to die, man. you gonna die, son. Oh shit.
So yeah, Copland. If you haven't watched it, you owe it to yourself, because it is arguably one of Sylvester Stallone's best acting roles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's one of James Mangold in general. Like I said, like Walk the Line was good. His 310 to Yuma remake.
Like even the Wolverine.
Yeah,
was like,
it was all right.
It was all right, but like after
he leveled up.
Right after the fact that he was able to salvage
to do a mulligan and get Logan.
Right, like salvage what was the Wolverine Origins X.
Oh yeah.
The fact that he was able to salvage that bullshit and make the Wolverine and then Logan.
Also, Ford versus Ferrari was hard too.
Yeah, I watched Ford versus Ferrari during the height of pandemic, and I had been avoiding it for the longest time, and I'm mad at myself for that.
Yeah, man,
it's a really, really fucking good movie.
That movie was recorded and mixed in Dolby Atmos, and I saw it in Dolby Cinema, and
I can only imagine.
Yeah,
because it's loud as fuck with a regular TV, so I can only imagine what Dolby Atmos is all about. But Copland, and then I was on this whole entire let's go back and just revisit older movies. I decided on Tubi, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite streaming services.
Because it's free.
It's free, but like it's just got. I love the mix of movies,
the weird and then the forgotten.
Right. So I decided to go back and rewatch New Jack City.
Yeah, I did that a couple of months ago.
And funny kind of story. The network that we're on, New Pod City, was named in honor of New Jack City.
Yeah,
so that's
news to me.
Yeah, so there you go. A little bit of podcast history for you. But it is both a great movie and a horrible movie. It's a product of its time.
Yeah.
But
that's Melvin Van Peebles, man. Like, you watch his movies, you're like, damn, these are good, but these could be better.
Right.
Because Posse's like that.
Right. And like, you mean Mario? Because Mario.
Yeah, Mario. My bad. Not Melvin. Melvin. Yeah, I keep getting them mixed up.
Yeah. like the camera work for a 90s movie is sort of inventive. Like he is a big fan of Dutch angles.
Yes.
Like you'll see that in
Yes.
Posse. You'll see that in all of his other movies. He loves the fucking Dutch angle, but it's not nearly as obvious in this movie as it was in, let's say, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah, it's the pacing and the story of New Jack City, which, you know, now that I'm looking at it as an adult, is like, it's not good. It's got so much fucking potential, but like we spent a full fucking 20 minutes on Pookie's rehab.
Yeah.
You know, that time could have been spent so much.
But it's also, it has to, because that was like the height of the crack epidemic.
Right. And like it's a great movie because it's influenced culture for the last, you know, how many fucking years.
Fucking Lil Wayne's best albums named after the
Carter.
drug. Yeah, the Carter 2.
The Carter 2. Fucking Rockabye Baby.
Yo, have you listened to what the fucking, whoa man, what's that song? A Millie? Have you listened to A Millie lately?
No, I haven't.
Yo, there's a couple lines in there. I was like, oh, you couldn't get away with this shit today. That shit still slaps though. A Millie.
Now it's gonna be stuck in my fucking head. Where do I go from it? Like, it has influence.
Yeah, everybody calls themselves Nino Brown.
Right, yeah. Like, Nino Brown gets mentioned more times in hip-hop culture than Jesus.
Yeah.
You know?
Him,
like,
Frank White.
Yeah.
Fucking Tony.
Yeah, and it has so much potential, but it's a straight 90s movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, I still love it. You know, but like looking at it critically is like, you know, just like I like
especially because Deep Cover's right there, and you're just like,
right, like I watched Deep Cover.
Yeah, you watch Deep Cover, and then you watch, it's night and day, baby.
Right, I watched Deep Cover a couple of months ago, and I was like, God damn, I forgot how good Deep Cover is. Right, and then I watched New Jack City. It's like, I didn't realize how bad New Jack City is, but I still love it. Yeah. Just like Scarface. If you look at Scarface,
it's not good.
It's not a good movie.
Yeah, it's just got memorable moments,
right?
And the score is hard,
right? And nostalgia does a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah,
with New Jack City, with Scarface. It's
fucking Donnie Brasco is okay.
Donnie Brasco.
What was Carlito's Way? All right,
Way.
And it's like, Carlito's Way. I'm just like,
Like for Carlito's Way, you got Benny Blanco.
How many motherfuckers are named Benny Blanco?
Right? You got Benny Blanco. You have the oneer at the end. The
table where they're rotating it on the table.
No, so
there's two.
The train station.
So there's two, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You got the train station oneer,
and you don't remember what I'm talking about, right?
The one where
it's rotating around the table.
Yeah. And you got okay, I'm reloading.
Yeah,
you want to be big time? You're gonna die big time.
That's at the beginning of Jay-Z's album, Volume 2, his biggest album of all time, Hard Knock Life.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's
remember that song?
Yeah,
he flipped that Annie shit and started rapping about crack over an Annie sample. I was like, yo. You can't do that shit nowadays either.
You can't do a lot of this shit. Like, and so a lot of these movies that we grew up with watching, like you watch them now, is like, I don't know why I was so invested in this.
I listen to too much rap music, man.
Yeah, I mean, as a time capsule for rap history, New Jack City, Scarface, Carlito's Way. All Donnie Brasco, all of these crime movies will always be indebted to them. But if you look at them critically, it's real hit or miss. Yeah. So that's New Jack City. I suggest that if you've never seen New Jack City, you should go and watch it. The line that will always stick out to me is Ice-T going, "I want to shoot you so bad, my dick is hard." And that is New Jack City.
I know we're not allowed to say this anymore because it's frowned upon because it's homophobic, but I gotta say it. If somebody ever said that to me, I'd be like, yo, pause.
Oh shit.
And I love all my gay people, but like, yo, that's some shit where I look at you like,
it's like,
nigga.
You have a murder boner for me?
Pause. Like, I'd rather like a dude say I want to fuck you than that shit. Because
Right.
I at least get where that's coming from.
Right, but like, I never got like, how much do you want to shoot somebody that you are getting an erection?
That's some insane asylum shit where you gotta be committed right away.
Knife in one hand, dick in the other. I'm coming for you.
Yo, that'd make a good fucking slasher movie. A nigga who gets off on killing people.
I mean, it's probably out there. It's on Tubi. That movie's probably on Tubi.
Yo, listen, let me make that shit.
That's all you can make that shit.
I'll be banned. I don't care.
Oh shit! So after that, I've been wanting to mention this movie, this show for the longest time. Winning Time.
Oh, how is it?
It is great.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, Winning Time. The Lakers dynasty show that is on HBO Max. It's really, really good, and you get past the sort of different camera aspect ratios, different film stocks, and stuff like that, because it's real chaotic how they're shooting it, but it's sort of like that. It's got that 80s energy to it, you know, and I can say that you can tell that it really is a good show to me because it's about sports. And if you know me, I don't fuck with sports, but I love this show. Right? You don't have to know anything about basketball. You don't have to know anything about the Lakers or anything like that to enjoy this fucking show. It's really good. And
so you know what this sounds like?
What does it sound like?
Sounds like The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
I watched. I didn't finish it.
Yo, finish it. I love that doc.
Right. So and it's like you see where all your heroes came from, and you have an appreciation for the Lakers dynasty because they went through some shit in the 80s.
Oh yeah, every basketball team did.
Yeah, but like they were trying to find a new head coach. They tried to poach someone from Vegas. The mob got wind of it, fucking killed this dude's manager and stuffed him in a fucking in a trunk.
Oh yeah. You
know, like it
was the Wild West before Jordan came through and started making everybody money. Like that shit was the Wild West, baby.
Yeah, man, and like John C. Reilly is killing it as Jerry Buss, and this is the show. You know, rumor has it that has put a rift between him, Adam McKay, and Will Ferrell, because Will Ferrell is supposed to play Jerry Buss.
Oh shit!
Right, and I can't see Will Ferrell doing that. You know, because I mean, even his more dramatic roles, Will Ferrell is still his brand. He's still Will Ferrell. He's still like, I can't imagine him not.
Did you see Everything Must Go?
I haven't seen Everything Must Go.
Yeah, that's the only time I didn't see Will Ferrell because that shit is legit depressing.
Okay, all right, maybe when I'm in the right mindset, I'll give that a look. So Winning Time, I think you have one more episode before we finish out the season, and I really highly suggest it. You watch it. Apparently, Magic Johnson has some real problems with it.
Yeah, well, Magic Johnson also got AIDS because he was fucking too much, so he's the last person
and
talking.
Like that they start off the series with that.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up.
They start off the series with like when he gets the diagnosis, and like, oh shit, okay, this is how it's gonna be. All right. Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah,
it's a fucking great show. Barry season 3.
Oh, don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
You know why? I tried to watch it.
What happened?
HBO Max wouldn't let me play it. What? Tried it this morning after I finished working out. Everything works on HBO Max except for Barry. And I was like, yo, I waited 3 years for this shit, and now I don't want to work.
All right, well, I'm not going to get into it, but it's Barry.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Like Barry, if you've never seen it, Barry is a show about a hitman who wants to become an actor. It's written and starring Bill Hader, and it's fucking amazing.
Yo,
it is funny, and it's honestly it's terrifying at points because this motherfucker is crazy. Well, like you never know who's gonna kill.
Like Better Call Saul, it pushes the envelope of what you can do in television.
Yeah,
just filmmaking wise.
Yeah, no. So I'm not gonna get into this, but like. I'll let you watch it, but you're not going to be disappointed.
Okay, so it was worth the 3-year wait?
Yeah, it was worth the 3-year wait for Barry season 3.
Motherfucker, yo, I'm going to call HBO when I get home and be like, yo, y'all motherfuckers get this shit fixed.
Yo, and like, shout out to NoHo Hank. I want NoHo Hank to get his own fucking series.
Anthony Carrigan's crazy.
Right? And like he's really bald in real life.
Yeah,
like,
and he
that's
has
like,
no eyebrows in real life. Yeah,
just like me.
Yeah.
And Better Call Saul started up again.
Yeah, that shit. Oh my god, those first two. Yo, Nacho got fucked. Yo, I fucking hate Gus. Like Gus is a piece of shit.
Yo, when Mike's there and he says like, look, you gotta respect him. Like, and Frank looks at him like, yeah, I do respect him. Doesn't say anything else.
Yeah,
it's like you respect him, but not enough to fucking save his life after you fucked him with the whole entire Lalo thing.
Yeah, I still don't understand why he did that shit, because he doesn't like Lalo. He could have just let that shit all slide and took over anyway.
Right. And like, if you're not watching Better Call Saul, go back and watch it.
I cannot believe that Kim is more ruthless and more devious than fucking Saul, because it got to the end of that second episode where she started like really conniving and like just metaphorically stabbing the Kettlemans, and even Jimmy's like he looked embarrassed and just frightened, and I was just like, yo,
if I want to know what's going to happen with Kim Wexler by the end of this series, because she went from Jimmy's moral compass in season 1 to
a bigger scumbag.
She's just like
a bigger scumbag than Jimmy ever was.
It's like, oh Jesus Christ, you are a villain
yes,
now.
Yeah.
But I love it. I like Skylar White.
She's not even. I would say she's Walter. She's the Walter of the show.
She's the Walter White of this shit.
Yeah. You said Skylar.
No, but I would say like the female characters in like this universe have always been kind of like shrill, right, and we thought Kim was gonna be on that sort of level, especially around season 2, season 3,
right.
But now she's got that turn. She's all in. It's like, look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do it.
And I also think it's because she's seeing how easy it comes to Jimmy, how much money Jimmy's pulling, even if it's from the cartel. She's just like, fuck this. Why work hard when I keep... And the other thing is she kept getting screwed over with all of her cases.
Yeah, she keeps on getting screwed.
And she wants a win.
Right, but also like she's cleaning her conscience because she's doing all that fucking like pro bono, all that work is like, yo, I can do some scumbag shit because I'm helping all these other people over here. Better Call Saul, season 6.
And damn, the Kettlemans,
get on it.
The Kettlemans haven't been in this show since season 1, and they back, and I was just like, yo, how are y'all, after everything you've been through, going to be pulling tax scams?
Right, but
like, holy shit.
But how's like as soon as Jimmy walked up to him, it was like, oh, you motherfuckers can get it fucked. Right? And when he's all angry, it's like when they fire him, and he's like, oh no, it's like, oh, Jimmy is always 5 steps ahead. You can't fuck with him.
Also, shout out to Vince Gilligan, because he directed the second episode, and the shootout in the second episode, I'm just like, yo, these shootouts and all these action sequences are better in a show about a lawyer than in the original show where it was actually a Western. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yo, this show, the shootouts, I was like, yo, like, and I was jumped up at one point. I'm like, Nacho, get out! Nacho, get out!
I love Breaking Bad, but Better Call Saul makes Breaking Bad a better show.
Yo, if they do not hit the landing for this,
they have to. They will. They got to. They will. Better Call Saul. All right, so that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching?
Oh man, so I want to get into season 2 of Russian Doll. I'm not going to spoil anything just because I love how different it is from season 1. Like, it's a totally new concept that they're dealing with here.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, when it happened, I'm like, what the fuck? And you find out what they're doing in the first episode, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do this season? That's clever. All right.
Oh, shit. Okay.
The first season was about Nadia coming to terms as she was as a person. This season is really about Nadia coming to terms with her past and her family. So, like, the arc continues.
Right.
It's some hard-hitting shit. Like, you could tell all this shit came from...
It's personal.
Yeah. Like that, I was watching. I was like, damn, she put her life into this fucking season. My only complaint is that Alan, who was also stuck in the time loop in the first season, he's not as big he doesn't have as big as a role as he did in the first season. And since this season ends with a new character arc, her new arc is completed, and like I feel like now Nadi is a whole person.
Right.
Hopefully, if they do decide to do a third season, make it a little bit more about Alan. But if this is it, I'm happy with it. Like season 1 and season 2, now it's a complete story. Like season 1, I was like, give me a little more. Now this, I'm like, oh, this is done. But if Natasha Lyonne wants to do more, I trust her, because I did not. I thought we were gonna go into another time loop, and we didn't. We did something else where I'm just like, it makes sense, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't personally have thought.
I've always loved Natasha Lyonne as an actress, like ever since Slums of Beverly Hills. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to jump into season 2.
First season was 8 half-hour episodes. This season, 7 half-hour episodes. Netflix, this is by far your best show, so like I don't expect it to last. Like I don't like anything on Netflix, so like the fact that like this is on there, I'm just like, yeah, we'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe,
Yeah, well, you remember what they've done to all the shows you love? Remember what happened to Glow?
Oh, fucking Glow.
Yeah.
Why did they cancel Glow again? Oh, that's right. They're stupid.
Yeah. That's my problem with Hulu too. Hulu, you get to like 2-3 seasons, and if you're not the Handmaid's Tale, you're gone.
Right.
Because they just announced the Wu-Tang show, its upcoming 3rd season. That's it.
But maybe this, like with Glow was just out of nowhere. They canceled that shit.
Right.
Like they dropped the last episode.
But I'm saying,
right,
I'm saying it's always with these shows.
Right.
And my thing is like, I don't know what they're gonna do with Rami, because Rami's shooting his 3rd season now. And Rami's one where they've been winning awards off the shit. So I'm like, if they cancel Rami after this 3rd season, then yeah, it's fucked up, because now I'm seeing what's going on. They're just trying to get content and build their library.
But maybe it's like on some like British TV shit, because like with British TV, they'll do 3 series of a show, and then like it's done. The story's told.
That shouldn't be happening with every fucking show though that they have there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And it's not just Hulu, it's Netflix too.
Well, yeah, I mean.
But they're in the hole. They're like 14 billion or like something like that.
Yeah, Netflix is having a bad fucking year so far.
Yeah, their stocks have dropped a lot.
And what's with this rumblings of a commercial service?
Oh yeah, because they've finally filtered out all the people who are using it and not paying for it.
Right.
They've lost subscribers, because now like people are like, oh,
so
if I can't
just go to fucking Tubi.
And if I can't share and other people are like, oh, if we can't share an account, then fuck it. So that's also contributing into that. So
we'll see.
Yeah, that's what that is. They're trying to entice people. But I'm like, y'all don't have the content worth it, bro.
Right. And it's just the UI, depending on what system you're watching it on, the UI is just shoddy at best. I watch Netflix more than I watch Hulu, but Hulu seems to get me more.
I think Hulu has better content too. Everybody has better content. Like I use Paramount Plus more than fucking what's it called? Netflix.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm using Tubi. I'm fucking
HBO Max.
HBO Max. I'm
Criterion Channel. I love.
I'm constantly on HBO Max.
Yeah, so like. Also, speaking of HBO Max, Tokyo Vice has been amazing.
Fucking love that show.
We have 1 episode left, and I don't know if this is a mini series or a series finale.
It's got to be just a season finale, because like it started off. This episode 1 was 3 years in the future.
Oh, okay. All right.
So they gotta finish it out.
Oh, so if this is a series, they spent so much money on this shit. Yeah. Holy shit. For an adult drama like this, oh man.
Like Tokyo Vice is it's Miami Vice in Tokyo. Like and that's pretty much
it's just morally complicated, because it's just like, oh man.
Oh,
like the shit they get sucked into, and then like when he learns the lesson, you're just like, yeah, Ken Watanabe, he might be like cynical, but motherfucker has a point.
Right. Like it's
especially when they did the raid on the plane, he came up to him and said like, yo, we could have did this, and then we could have been on top. He's like, I'm disappointed in you. I'm like, yeah, that hurts. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That hurts.
Because that's your father figure right there.
Yeah, and you know what? He was right.
Yeah. But I don't want to ruin anything, but I knew that dude was
because he was conniving.
Yeah, like
he's like a conniving.
Yeah.
You could tell he was a scumbag.
Yeah, but I can't I can't wait to. I want to know what Toa has. I want to know why he's so sick.
Yeah.
You know, like it's got to be a whole entire series because, like, remember first episode, it's that sting, and they said like 3 years. 3 year.
Okay, I thought it was like not that much time apart.
No, it's like
I thought we're gonna revisit that in the very last episode.
No, that's 3 years from when we start the actual show.
Okay.
So
this might be a 3-season show.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Jump in, but like I had to say, like I'm fucking loving Tokyo Vice.
Yeah, man. It's shit like this we very rarely get, even in streaming nowadays. It's just like, man, thoughtful and like it's dialogue heavy, but it's tense. Like the tension's always there. But yeah, Moon Knight, still loving Moon Knight, especially like the last episode they had.
Still haven't jumped out on that, man. I think I might as well just wait for it to finish.
Well, episode, what was it? What is this? This week is episode 5. So last week was episode 4. Yeah, the end of episode 4. It just gets surreal where you're like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And it is. I can't wait to see how they explained what was going on, because I was digging it the entire time where you're just like, what is going on? And it's just weird. I was just like, man, why can't we do this shit more often in Marvel and shit like this? Just
because it's a Marvel's doing it right. It's a character that is popular enough, but it's not one of its main stables, so they can afford to do some weird shit with it, because
it's not for Marvel. I'm not saying because it's tame by our standards, but for Marvel, it is violent.
All right, yeah,
like So I can't say it enough. Moon Knight, like, please watch Moon Knight. We got episode 5 this week, and then next week that's it.
Maybe I'll catch up. Maybe I'll catch up so I can watch the last episode fresh.
Well, we'll talk about it after the show.
Okay.
Finished CSI Vegas. I didn't know this was originally a miniseries. I thought this was a series, but it did so well that it's actually going to be a series.
Okay.
It's only 10 episodes, and I hope they keep it 10 because it works, where it has, the serialized case, and then you get your case of the week. It's really, like, the way they did this was really good. It makes sense why Grissom and Sarah won't be back. Like, why would they stay at the crime lab? I'm glad they're gone.
Right.
Catherine Willows is apparently coming back for this upcoming second season, so it's going to be another legacy character. It's just, the way they're handling it, if they can handle it like they did season 1, then good. And keep it 10 episodes. Because 10 they could have made it like 8. I mean, I'm happy with it.
Like CSI, for as much as I never liked, or it's not that I didn't like the original series. It's just like it didn't connect with me.
Right.
It was inventive. It did kind of change that game. So I'm glad that the reinvention is on the same.
Yeah, the sequel series.
Yeah.
Last week's SNL was hosted by Lizzo, and her goal, and I don't know, I can't remember if she did it or not, but her goal, she said in her monologue, was to say bitch the most times on live TV. So I've never had any aspirations of hosting SNL, but I mean, the way she uses bitch and the way she says it is exactly the way I use it. It's not like as a derogatory term for females. I use it as slang.
There's a modifier.
And she uses it as slang too. Yeah. So hearing her do that all over SNL, I'm like, okay. I'm an anxious person. I got very bad social anxiety, but I got to fight that back and now host SNL, because now I can't have somebody else beat me at my own game. Like, now I got to beat her at saying bitch on live TV more times now.
I want to see an SNL skit, Dueling Bitches, where it's you and Lizzo trying to out-bitch each other. And it's just like, it's going to be like the fuck scene from The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
But with bitch.
Or it could be like the Key and Peele speech.
Bitch.
Somebody else walks out and be like, bitch.
Yes, I want to see that.
Bitch.
Let's make that happen. Dueling bitch skit.
Yeah, I can't have somebody out bitch me. Fuck out of here. All right, and so for movies, besides the 2 we're going to review, I did get to see last Sunday The Bad Guys. Go see this fucking movie. It's amazing. When we talk about kids films, and specifically kids animated films, this is what I'm talking about. Tell a fucking story, be creative about it, and the rest will come. You know what I mean? Like, the animation in this shit looks like it's from a comic book. Like it looks like 2D, 3D animation.
Okay.
It looks like a comic book. It's smart. It's clever. It's like playing on the bad guy tropes, but they're really good guys. This is a fantastic fucking movie, and the voice acting's top notch. It has Zazie Bates, Sam Rockwell. It has Awkwafina. I think Mark Maron's in it. I think too.
Yeah, Mark Maron.
Yeah, like this cast is stacked. It's something everybody's gonna get something out of. Like they're basically bad guys trying to be good guys. They're trying to reform themselves, but you know, there's twist in there.
I didn't realize it was based on a book series.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it did well enough that hopefully it'll get a sequel. We could start adapting more of these books.
Well, I don't know if it's a book series. I know it was based on a book, but like, you know, it's probably a series.
I want to say this. Whatever animation studio made this, Universal, scoop them up and then drop Illumination like a bad hat, because it's clear Illumination don't give a fuck. Because I love Robert Eggers so much and his new movie came out this week, I decided to revisit The Witch in the Lighthouse. Love The Witch still. Nobody's good in that movie. Like I rewatching, I'm just like, yo, every member of this fucking family sucks, bro.
Right.
Because the little boy's like lusting after his sister's like making the wrong choices instead of like prodding on people. I was just like, yo, leave it alone.
Right.
The little twins are shitbag little kids. The mom's fucking crazy and blames her daughter for everything. And then the father's just fucking pious and fucking prideful. And like, honestly, the whole movie's his fault. Like, he's the reason they got kicked out. So, yeah, but I love The Witch, man. That shit still freaks me out.
What about The Lighthouse? What are your feelings on The Lighthouse?
Oh, that's my favorite Robert Eggers movie. Like, it is basically a live action Harold Pinter poem come to life, or a Harold Pinter play come to life. Like, and it has shades of Edgar Allan Poe in it.
Right.
I love that it could be taken literally, or this is stuff that's left up into interpretation, or they're just going crazy. That's what I love about it. I like how it's shot, where it's shot in like the old Academy letterbox.
Right.
So it feels claustrophobic, but it's also on a grand scale because those sets are big, and you got the shots of the ocean, which make it bigger than it is.
And that beautiful black and white.
Yeah. It like that is my favorite Robert Eggers movie. Like there's shit in it that just makes me laugh. You know what I mean? Like fucking when what's his face is I would have, if somebody talked to me like that, I'm like, nigga, you dead. But when William Dafoe is berating Robert Pattinson, he's like, if I tell you to swab the decks, you do it. If I see that there's shit on the floor and I tell you to wipe it up, you do it. And by God, you'll do it with a smile on your face. And then he's like, swab dog.
Swab.
Oh, word? I look at that axe and just be like, Jack Nicholson, that motherfucker right to the chest.
There's just two of us.
Motherfuckers farting and shit. Having sex with them.
Like, we're going to talk about this in the review. He's got a thing with bodily functions, doesn't he?
Yeah. But it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny though. Like farts have been funny this week because it was funny in that, it was funny in the Northman, and it was funny in the Bad Guys.
Okay.
So moving on from that, what else have I watched? I revisit the 13th Floor because my brother hasn't seen it.
Is that the one with
Craig Burko and Gretchen Mol and Vincent D'Onofrio?
I miss Gretchen Mol.
And Armin Mueller-Stoll. It sucks that this came out like a month either before The Matrix or the month after Matrix, because you watch them and you're just like, yeah, well, this is why this one kind of fell. But I like what it's doing with virtual reality, is why I don't fuck with virtual reality. And the movie kind of does give itself away because it's been a minute since I've seen it. Like last time I saw it, I was a kid.
Last time I saw, I think I might have seen it in theaters. When did it come? It came out. Yeah, it came out in 99.
99, yeah.
Yeah, I might have seen it in the theaters, and that was it.
Yeah, man. I like how ambiguous the ending is, because the way that it's supposed to emulate a TV turning off. So you're just like, wait, hold on.
I can't remember any of that shit.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give much away because I want you guys should see the 13th Floor. It's not going to be the best thing you see, but it's going to make you sit there and just be like, yo, that's fucked. That's real fucked up.
Which service did you watch it on?
HBO Max. It's leaving at the end of the month.
Oh shit! I always feel anxious when they say like, "Oh, leaving in 6 days." It's like, now I gotta watch this fucking movie that I didn't want to watch anyway, but I don't know where else I'm gonna find it, so let me watch it. Yeah.
So I want to get into The Hobbit, because we watched the extended version of the first Hobbit because Trey hasn't seen it, and watching it now, like divorced from Lord of the Rings, because I've seen Lord of the Rings again recently. I just keep remembering this was a kid's book. So he made like a fantasy movie for like young adults, because this one, it has singing, has like goblins farting and shit like that. And I'm just like taking it as a movie for young adults. It's like a Lord of the Rings Junior. You know what I'm saying? Like smaller scale, smaller story, but set in Middle Earth. I like it more that way.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
And this extended version makes the movie better because it builds the characters better and tells the story better.
I'm gonna, full disclosure, I have no interest in watching The Hobbit.
You should give the first one a shot and the extended cut of the first one, because we're gonna go back and watch the extended cut of the second one.
Right.
It's been a minute since I've seen that, and I think I remember liking that too. But I just remember the third one, both of them. It should have been 2 movies. Like watching this first one, I'm like, this just should have been 2 movies, because like once this first one ends, you're like, oh, we're more than halfway through the story. That's it.
Okay.
Let's get into our main review.
And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The Film Blurbs feature film review.
All right. So, The Unbearable Weight of Talent. For those of you who don't know, it's basically a meta satire It's about Nicolas Cage. He's down on his luck. He's playing himself as this he's trying to make a big comeback in Hollywood, and then he's been invited by a fan to hang out for a weekend, and it becomes so much more.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great synopsis. I really like this movie. I'm on the cusp of loving it. I've got some issues with it, but I'm a Nick Cage fan.
Right.
I'm a Nick Cage apologist. I even fuck with Wally's Wonderland. That's how much Nick Cage love. That's how much Nick Cage love I have, because no matter what piece of shit movie he's in, it's always Nick Cage.
Right.
And I think that's the main driving force of this movie. Is it's Nick Cage going full Nick Cage, and him realizing this brand he's created and embracing that, and I love it.
I like this movie a lot, but it kind of stops being funny halfway through. Like the satire part stops being funny halfway through. Like it kind of ran out of steam.
It actually fell apart for me in the third act when it actually became an action movie.
Yeah, see, I didn't. It's just it should have been handled by a more seasoned director.
Yeah, I will give you that. I will. I don't even know who I can't remember who directed.
Tom Gorison, some dude like that. Some dude's name like that. But like, yeah, Pedro Pascal rules. It's hard for like the way Nick Cage is it's fictionalized, but there's aspects of him that are true. Like he is a huge cinephile like that. Like he loves fucking movies.
Right, and there's shades of his own personal troubles and stuff like that, and like it's not as soul bearing, I would think, as like being John Malkovich, but it's still like him being open to being laughed at. Being laughed at. Yeah. So there's a younger version of Nicolas Cage in this called Nicky Cage, credited as Nicholas Kim Coppola, which is funny. Right. I mean, because people forget that Nick Cage is part of the Coppola clan.
Yeah. He took the name Cage because he's a big comic book guy, and he took it from Luke Cage.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why this is why I fuck with Nick Cage, man. He's a fucking nerd.
Yeah, man. Most of these motherfuckers who work in who are actors, they're nerds, because like there's that's your fantasy, is to do some serious drama shit for your soul, but then to nerd out and do like the franchises you loved as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, it was not all the jokes hit, but when the jokes hit, they were fucking hilarious.
Yeah, my audience was dying of laughter. Dying.
Like, I'm not gonna ruin this, but there's an interaction with Nicky Cage and Nick Cage that had me fucking rolling.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to get into the Northman. Man, this movie is insane. I can't believe this got made. I think it's a great movie. I love it, and it's probably going to be in my top 10 for the year. But my problem is it's Robert Eggers' weakest movie just because that second act is a bit drawn out.
Yeah, it's you can cut at least 15, 20 minutes out of that second act, and this movie would fly. It would really hit for me.
But with that said, this movie is some next level shit. Like this is still a Robert Eggers movie through and through. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, this is not for mainstream audiences.
Right. The trailer gives you a blockbuster shit, but this is not. This is not.
Yeah, this is a Robert Eggers film. Like, there's action. Even the action in this is art house.
Right.
Like the oneers. There's a oneer in this right at the beginning where and it's probably like the fourth or fifth oneer, but it's where we flash forward to where he's a man, and we start off on the banks of the river.
The raid, yeah.
You see the boats pass by. We go through the trees. And by the way, they shot this on film. They achieved this with a crane, and detaching the crane real quick. They have this. We go from the crane to the boat, push forward onto Alexander Skarsgård as he's rowing. Then we do a 360 shot and see two people get killed back to his face. That's all one take.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing feat in is a camera cinematography, like camera choreography. This whole entire movie.
Yeah, the real, like, this is real. Like they break down, because I've been watching behind the scenes shit, and they break down the shields and tell you how realistic the shields is. Like, everything is historically accurate,
and it is fucking brutal.
Yeah,
but it's brutal, but not. It's kind of subtle. The brutality, you know, it's not in your face. It's just matter of fact.
Well, that's the thing, is like it's hard to watch because there's a lot of rape in this movie, and the rape all occurs off screen.
Right, which is worse.
Yeah. Well, it's just as bad, but
right,
like, you know, the implied stuff, because that means it's worse when you don't see it. I get what you mean by that. Yeah, it is a brutal movie. Vikings, when they fought, they always fought naked, and they did it as an intimidation tactic, because, again, if you see a guy coming at you growling and he has knives in his hand and he's completely naked
and covered in blood,
but they weren't allowed to, because, you know, the opening raid where they sacked the village,
right?
They were supposed to be naked, but
they couldn't get away with that.
Yeah, because and Alexander Skarsgård even said in an interview, he's like, I don't get how we're in such a puritanical society that it's okay to see so much carnage and violence from young ages to now.
But some dong?
Yeah, like stuff that eventually you're going to see once in your life, whether you want to or not. Everybody has to you handle it and clean themselves.
Right.
So, like,
I texted a friend of mine after watching this, and was like, you may hate a motherfucker, but you've never hated a motherfucker enough to fight him butt naked in the middle of a volcano. You know, that's pretty much sums up my thoughts on that. Like,
for those of you who don't know, the Northman is about Alexander Skarsgård. He was a prince. His father was killed by his uncle, and his uncle takes his mom and tries to kill him. He runs away and grows up with the Wolf Clan and becomes this elite warrior. And fortune bestows him another chance to seek revenge, and he takes steps to seeking revenge. This is what Hamlet came from, is the legend of Amulet from the Viking sagas, because Alexander Skarsgård's a producer on this, and he's been wanting for a long time to make a Viking saga. And Robert Eggers has been for a long time wanting to make a Viking saga. They met each other. They loved each other because, you know, he was familiar with Robert Eggers' work. He said to the studio, he's like, imagine giving this guy money to make a crazy Viking movie.
To make, you know, Viking Hamlet.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, okay.
The visuals are
next level.
Fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It is.
If you read about how they did that.
The sky?
No, not the sky. The lava.
Right.
The lava they did with LED lights, and then went back and just put very subtle CG over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. But yeah, it's fantastical. When I say fantastical, is like it has some like weird Norse mysticism throughout it. It made me want to actually look up some of this shit.
Yeah, man. Know? This feel like there's a lot of stuff in here that's from Norse mythology, where when it comes to 4K Blu-ray, I can't wait to dive in and just pause and just be like, all right, let me look this up. because a lot of the stuff that got cut from the movie was from Norse mythology.
Okay.
And I know because they want to make a accurate Viking saga, they were going to try and do the whole movie in Old Norse, which would match up with his other two movies because The Witch is in Old English and then, early English. That's not even Old English. That's early English dialect. And then The Lighthouse is in Old English.
Right.
So it would match up with his dialect and his movie being accurate because everything in his movies are historically accurate, and that's what I love about him. He's meticulous.
And so like this, don't go in expecting a blockbuster
Because it's not.
It's not. It is a
mid-budget fucking art house movie about revenge.
Right. Yeah.
It is the Revenant. I can't believe the Revenant made the money it is once you think about it. But it's a smaller scale, the Revenant. Except I wasn't, as much as I love the Revenant, and I told my brother this. I was like, I wasn't as emotionally cold as I was with the Revenant, just because Amulet, you get to learn about him. He grows over the course of the movie, where Hugh Glass in the Revenant, he has one mode and he never grows.
Right.
Up until the last part of the movie.
And my thing is, like, if you've ever seen one of these movies, you know sort of the story beats.
Right.
You know? But it still hit.
And it took some left turns where I was like, oh shit. And the one left turn it takes, and I'm not going to spoil it at all. Don't spoil it, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it.
I was just like, man, this is fucked. And that's
I saw that coming though. It's the whole entire heat dynamic, you know?
Yeah.
Like don't go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like,
but I love what he realizes by the end of the movie. And I talked to my brother about it. He's like, nah, he could have. I was like, no, man, because this is what I love about the movie. The movie teaches you that violence in this society is cyclical. Like, you know how many, and we don't know how many towns they sacked, but just from this one town, they've created maybe 5 new amulets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when they set that hut on fire with all the kids in it, you see him physically turn away because, man, he lived through that.
Right.
He knew where that came from.
Yeah. So like it's deeper and more emotional than anything you've been led to believe. It's a slow burn, but when it hits, it hits.
The action, I couldn't believe somebody did this, but the action is staged like how Kurosawa would stage his samurai films. I was just like, oh man, these seem straight out of a Kurosawa.
Like
these actions,
like the one fight scene in the moonlight.
Oh
Inside the ship. It's like
the
way the pans, the left and right. Oh, that was beautiful.
Straight Kurosawa, man. I was like, these are samurai epics, and it also at points reminded me of Andrei Tartakovsky, the dude who did Solaris.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is the movie. It reminded me, I haven't seen the whole movie. I've seen it in pieces, and I've been trying to watch this movie. It's called Andrei Rublev. There's a lot of it where I was just like, what? This looks familiar. This looks like it's straight from Andrei Rublev.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's Andrei Rublev is like a sort of biographical movie about a famous painter, the titular painter, and it takes some liberties, but like visually, it was some next level shit. Like,
when did it come out?
1966. Because Tartakovsky did Solaris. If you've never seen Solaris,
yeah, I saw Solaris,
and
both versions.
Stalker is another famous one, and Stalker is one I want to see in a theater. I don't want to watch it at home, so that's why I'm saving my 3-hour jaunt with that movie.
Right.
But yeah, man, like you could see like Conan the Barbarian was definitely an influence. You could see the influences in this. This is very, very like even this could have easily been some macho bullshit, and it became more than some macho bullshit. Like you could tell just by the conversations I had and thinking about the stories with everybody. He dug deep in this. And I'm glad he did, and this could have been like a simple ass revenge movie.
Right, it could have been like any of those other sword and sandals type bullshit.
Yeah, sword and sorcery.
Sword and sorcery. It could have been like Vikings on Netflix or whatever like that. But it's what's the Viking movie by that was Mads was in?
Oh, Valhalla Rising.
Valhalla Rising. It's like a more emotionally grounded Valhalla Rising.
And more platable, because I like obscure shit, but even
that was a little too fucking
I don't fuck with that, man. But yeah, please go see The Northman. I'm gonna go see it again in Dolby.
Yeah, you have to listen to
the
this
sound
loud.
design is incredible. It's loud. Like I have those guttural vocal chants in my chest. Now, like every time I walk down the street, I just want somebody to go, roof. Like that shit is epic as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like you could see the sound design. It really hits home how terrifying having one of these motherfuckers sack your village would be.
I cannot wait to see what Robert Eggers does next. He's 3 for 3. Yeah.
Well, he's going to do a smaller movie next, so right.
His smaller movies were The Witch and The Lighthouse, man. I mean,
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to him, you know.
And for this to be $70 million, that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, because this
easily could have been.
It's beautiful and authentic.
This could have easily been 150.
Oh yeah.
Next week's episode is going to be delayed because we are going to be seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. They're giving it to us close to the release date because heavy spoilers.
Right.
We're not going to get into those spoilers because Disney will bury us.
Right. They will break our kneecaps.
But I promise we will give you more than 15 minutes of Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange we'll give you a nice 30-minute review.
We'll try and keep it as vague as possible.
Yeah. It'll be up next Wednesday. We're getting double Marvel, that and Moon Knight as a whole because the finale's next week. We're the Film Blurds. I'm Brandon Norwood and I'm the motherfucking protagonist.
I'm the protagonist.
I'm Jeff Stewart, a.k.a. He Who Remains.
Don't come at us. It's just fucking movies.
You've been listening to the Film Blurs podcast.
Man, I just love what you guys do, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best. It's my favorite podcast.
Follow Jeff on IG on MindFireXL and Brandon on Twitter at BJN Tweets.